Safari hunting was banned in Uganda in 1979, marking the end of what had been a thriving industry. This occurred during a period of severe political upheaval and wildlife devastation. The almost 30,000 elephants that Uganda had at independence were reduced to only 2,000 in 1985. After the demise of the dictator, Idi Amin, in the late 1970s, civil war continued through the 1980s. Uganda reintroduced sport hunting in 2001 around Lake Mburo National Park and subsequently expanded it into other areas in 2006. The reopening was gradual and carefully managed, with the progressive government recognizing that big game hunting in Uganda can provide a significant source of revenue for conservation and the local economy.
I came to Uganda the first time in 1999 and proceeded to do the rollout for the cell phone network here in Uganda. In 2003, I traveled through Karuma Wildlife Reserve with a friend of mine. I then approached Uganda Wildlife to see if it was possible to do a concession in Karuma. They directed me to Lake Albert, to Kaboya Wildlife Reserve.
So Kaboya Wildlife Reserve is situated on the shorelines of Lake Albert, which is also in the Rift Valley. And the concession is 200 square kilometers.
I was shocked when I got there to find out 8,000 head of cattle. After 3 days, we only managed to count about 28 Uganda cob and about 2 warthog. That was about it. At the time, they were generating no income at all on the reserve, very little anti-poaching, and I saw huge potential for running it in private hands. I returned back to them and showed my dismay, and they assured me that if we got rid of the cattle, it could be viable. So then I approached local government, Hoima local government, and they also showed a lot of interest because the cattle had come from southern Uganda, Rwanda, and those areas, and they were pretty keen to get rid of them as well. So that's when, with Uganda Wildlife, working hand in hand with them, the process started of getting rid of the cattle.
He got his first anti-poaching team. There was only 2 back then. It was Godfrey and then another old man. He's passed away at this time. So, and those are the only 2 anti-poaching guys that we had, obviously plus the UWA, Uganda Wildlife Authority.
By 2005, I managed to sign an agreement with Uganda Wildlife, Hoima local government, and we started a 20-year concession. We embarked on a serious privately run anti-poaching system. Over the years, you have some good wardens, you have some bad wardens, but we've ended now, after 20 years, working hand in hand with Uganda Wildlife, and we feel it's been very successful.
The scouts are part of Lake Albert. They're not allowed to carry any rifles, but we work close in hand with UWA, where they provide the rifles, and that's how we do operations here at Kaboya. When I first got here, there were only 5 guys, now we've got 9. And they're split up into 2, and in a period of a week, they can cover the whole reserve. We have 2 guys that are always situated with UWA at our solar pump, and that we pump water to a water hole in the middle.
So you see this one here? So this is connected with the wire.
Yeah.
Okay? And then they connect this to a big piece of wood, probably around 15 kgs, 10 kgs. And they get the woods from in the reserve, and what they do is they put plate, which is typically a paint lid, and they cut it into like triangles. So the snare is here, and as soon as the animal comes, so this is covered with
They make a hole
some bushes.
here.
Yeah, there's a hole underneath.
There is a hole down here.
Then the animal comes, sticks his thing through, gets a fraud, runs, and then that's also connected. If not, and then they carry in the piece of wood. So it's a tactic that they've been using, but last year what we did, me and the anti-poaching team, we went and collected all the wood that they used. Not to end the poaching, because we know we're never going to do that, but to at least slow them down. And what we've seen this year is it worked, eh?
Yeah.
So, you know, we've a little bit irritated them. Now they have to come into the reserve, re-chop the wood, reset it, because normally what my guys do is they can't carry 15 kgs all the wood. You know, they walk 15, 20 k's, if that, a day. So they let me know where the wood is. We go there, we fetch about 2 truckloads, and what we do, we use it as firewood. And then this is all from last month. So this is actually a clutch wire from the local barks. So they're using the pit plate now more because my guys are patrolling all the time. So that we're always removing those typical snares where the 2 pieces of sticks and then the wire. Our guys remove 20, 30 a day. It has decreased, and we've seen now it's almost nothing. That's why they're using different tactics.